Good morning, friends. Excuse the gravity of my voice. I am up early this morning because I'm taking a trip to Broadstairs, which is on the west coast of the UK. It's a west coast beach town, which I'm kind of in love with. So that's where I'm heading today. If anybody been to Broadstairs, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. But before I do, I wanted to check in on you guys and paint a bit and chat a bit, kind of about something that has been in the public consciousness for a while now. It's been a conversation. And I'll start with something that happened to me. Not to not to make it all about me, but I think it's pretty relevant. So I was on TikTok, and there's a doctor there who talks about his work with incels. And, I've watched a couple of his videos and, tried to understand what he was saying. And I just wrote a comment on one of the videos about, my own experience with my own two boys. I have two sons, two young men, ages 20 and 22. They'll be 21 and 23 soon. So I basically commented that I had asked my sons if they were part of the male loneliness crisis because I was curious. We have a pretty good relationship, and I didn't think they were, but I thought it was important that I asked. So I asked them, and I just, put a little comment in there about that and what they had replied. And one of them replied that he wasn't lonely because he had friends, and the other replied that he wasn't lonely because he went to therapy. He had a therapist. And that answer made me really proud, and not only because they weren't lonely, but because those were very kind of mature answers, and that's kind of what you want to hear from your kid at their age, like a level of maturity, right? And I got a response, and it was like a month or so ago, and I just noticed it, but someone responded, a man, I don't know how old he was, but he responded, "Do they even know who their father is?" And I thought, wow. My first thought, of course, was I'm going to blast this guy. And I did leave a really, let's say, semi-nasty but deserved comment back, reply to him. But I did think this guy is clearly part of the male loneliness epidemic. And when I looked at his profile, it was all anti-woman and, misogynistic. And I thought, oh yeah, definitely. And if you're a man listening to this right now, I want you to lower your shoulders, take a deep breath, because honestly, I'm not here to attack you and to make light of your loneliness. But I would say step one in not being a lonely man is don't attack random women online for no reason, because you're angry and bitter and mad. That's step one. I mean, I've been lonely. All women have been lonely at some point, all people, because we're people. But there's nothing lonelier than being lonely in a relationship. And I think that is what most women are trying to tell you guys. I'm not here to attack men. I think both sexes have their faults or issues or things they need to work on. When I was young, men wanted us to go out and become these independent beings who didn't rely on them who didn't just want them for money, who didn't, gold digger, don't be a gold digger was a big thing. And when I travel in Europe or date European men and such, or English men even, there's very much an expectation here that women pay half for everything. Everybody's got their own independent living, and they don't really share bank accounts like we do in the States. It's very different. And that is kind of the message that we were given as young ladies growing up in the 80s. Be independent. And that's what we raised our daughters to be, independent of a man. And now it's somehow swapped around that women have done it wrong by becoming these independent beings who don't depend on a man. But also, while we were learning how to become independent and not rely or just focus solely on men with money and require other things from men didn't up their game. You guys didn't, you didn't do what we needed, which was to become emotionally intelligent beings. Because as I was saying earlier, that is where a lot of relationships fail or fall apart for women. So we've been lonely. We were lonely through the 80s and the 90s, through the 50s and the 60s, and the 70s and the 20s. Sorry, I got lost track of my timing there. But we've been lonely. We understand what loneliness is. But I'll tell you, there's different kinds of loneliness. There's the loneliness of being in a relationship where you don't feel valued or seen. And then there's the loneliness of, yes, I don't have someone in my life that is a constant that I'm dating and that I'm building a life with, but at least I have peace. At least I have peace, quiet. At least I'm not overthinking because of something someone has told me, or I'm carrying the emotions of two people. That's a different kind of lonely than I'm in a marriage or relationship with someone and I feel unseen, unheard, and there's a lack of any desire to understand who I am. And so, I have some advice for men who feel like that women have changed or deserted them, or they're part of the male loneliness epidemic and they can't find a woman. First of all, emotional intelligence. I don't know if you understand what that is. And again, I'm not attacking. I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to speak directly to any man who is listening to this. Okay? So I'm going to give you some advice. Develop emotional intelligence. That means seeing a woman as more than an object for sex, an object to clean your house and to make your life, to treat you like your mom, a version of your mom who gave you sex on demand. That's not going to work. Even with the most traditional woman, that's not going to work for very long, because women require connection and time and energy. And if you don't have that time or energy, or you don't know how to connect, then that's what you need to be working on during this season where there's no woman in your life. And I guarantee you, if you develop those things, there will be a woman who comes along and wants to spend time with you. So, number one, as I was saying, see her as more than a sexual vessel, a vessel for your seed. It's okay if you want to be the alpha male, but a true alpha male earns that with his woman. He doesn't just show up day one and think that he's going to be able to control her and tell her what to do. He understands that that is a position that is earned, even in the wild. Even with animals, the alpha male has earned that position. He wasn't just born into it. And though in the wild he might have to fight to get it, that doesn't mean that's what you have to do. What you have to do is focus on the needs of the people around you. Learn how to not only take care of yourself in an emotional way, be able to regulate yourself, but also take care of the emotions of the people around you. That means your parents and your friends. It means becoming the person that people want to go to and then showing up for those people. That's what an alpha male is. He doesn't walk around, the alpha gorilla doesn't walk around beating his chest for no reason. He does that to protect. And if you'll notice, he doesn't boss the females around. He doesn't beat up the children. He lets the children play on him. He's protective because he's earned it and because they trust him. They trust that he's going to take care of him, and you can't earn trust by being an ass, by being overly dominant, by treating the people around you as though they're idiots and don't have any value beyond what they do for you. It's not easy being anyone. It's not easy being a man. It's not easy being a woman. It's not easy being human. But your experience in life is a direct reflection of who you are. And I'm not saying that everything, if you're a good person and caring and loving person, that everything will always go your way. But I'm saying the odds are significantly greater, that if you treat people with respect, then you will get respect back. So, how about an action plan? What can you do if you're lonely and you're a man and you don't know where to start? That's a good question. I would say start by getting a hobby. Not video games, not computer related, not hanging out with boys and men who have the same attitude and just verify your beliefs. Go start spending time alone at the gym, or taking walks, or get a dog, or actually have some real conversations with some real women instead of these kind of made up idea women, of these kind of Barbie doll women who are just a reflection of what you already think women are. Talk to a real woman. Where do I find real women? They're all over the place. I'm sure your mom's a real woman. You have any sisters, cousins, the lady at work who works every day? Find a real woman and have a real conversation. Read some books. Read some feminist books. Because true feminism isn't about making men feel bad or making them irrelevant. It's about getting women to a place where they understand their value. And our value isn't in making men the scapegoat for our issues. That's not what where we'll find ourselves. And your value isn't in making women scapegoat for your issues. That's not where you'll find it. It is in the interest of women that men do well. I am the mother of sons. I understand that. It is in the interest of men that women do well, because we are the mothers of your children. And I know that there are people who say, well, once AI has gotten to a place where we can put babies in robots and we won't need women anymore, that's amazing. Less chance of a woman dying in childbirth. I think that's fantastic. I think it's a little far from reality right now, but that would be great if we could mitigate the risks of childbirth. But here's the question. Who's going to raise those kids? Who's going to love on them? Who's going to give them that first 6 months of breast milk, of connection, of human touch that they need? Are you going to do it? Who's going to nurture your children? Are you going to leave that to AI too? To some mystical robot to nurture your children while you're at work? Think about it. Is that the solution? Is that the solution? The solution is also not taking away women's rights so that they are required to be with you. Because have you ever been with a woman who didn't want to be with you? Don't you want a woman who chose you? A woman who has everything she needs in life and looks at you and says, I have everything I need, and yet I still want you. Isn't that the feeling you want? Instead of, I have to be with this person. I have no choices. I can't leave because I don't have any money. You want to hold a hostage? You want a hostage as a partner? Or do you want a partner who improves your life, who improves your economic status, who nurtures your children, who builds a life with you, who encourages you, who helps if you lose your job, she has her job? Isn't that what you want? Why would you want anything else? So the solution to male loneliness is just learning how to be a complete person. So you meet a complete person and you build a complete life. And I don't know how we get there from here, other than it's time for you as a man to take responsibility for your life, for your existence, for where you are now and where you want to go. And it's time to stop blaming women for where you are now. That's all in your hands. If you think it's because women want a man who's a certain height, who makes a certain amount of money, then you've missed the memo. That's not what women want. We want to be in relationships with men who are whole, who can see us as whole, and who want the best for us as individual human beings, a woman in their life. We are not a reflection of you. We are individuals with our own dreams, our own passions, our own motivations, our own hurts. And we want someone in our lives who can see those things and love us. And if you can get to the point where you can do that, then you will have no problem finding a woman to spend time with. And that's about all I have to say on the topic. I've finished my painting. I hope you got something out of this. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Have a great day.